So now, have you just recently changed your profile pic and username on Skool? And I don't know why, but I feel like that's pretty significant for you. Why?
I only recently started showing my face on my Instagram page, The Mind Supply. And that was a big step because, I don't, I was like, oh, I can build my brand without showing my face. Like, that's why I have my business. So I can just be in my room, I don't have to talk to people. But the more I'm like discovering what my message is, the more I want to show up. Oh my gosh, it's gonna make me emotional already. I was not expecting it.
Bring it on. That's what we do in this show. Come on. Let it loose. Virtual, bring it in. It's not your fault. Goodwill Hunting moment.
You know what's funny? Sam had actually messaged me about, he's like, he said he hinted at change your name because I had no idea. Like, I don't follow spam accounts with brand names. So I think he was trying to hint at something there. And then, yeah, Goose helped me a lot. Goose, he literally got me on a phone call and he's like, we need to make this happen. And I don't know. For some reason, it feels like a big step. I think I just want everything to be so perfect that in my head, I think, oh, I'm called a Mind Supply. Like, I don't know. It's just these little things that kind of, I think, get in the way. And that's why working with someone else and like getting their perspective was so important because, yeah, and that's the power of community. So it's like, it's so cool.
This might sound like a bit of a weird question, but like, do you feel like you've ever been like punished for standing out or stepping out or like putting yourself on the line the way that you currently are now?
Every time I talk to you, I feel like it's a therapy session.
The Mind Supply, bro.
Oh, what a good question. Oh my gosh. I think in school I felt really punished. Just the whole experience of school. Not school.
SCH, mother flippers.
Yes, that's the school I'm talking about. We're just so punished. And for me, at least, I felt so punished. Like I was only worthy of this grade or whatever. Sounds very cliche, but it's these things really do now play a role in how I'm doing my business. And it's like about realizing, and this is part of my niche as well, I was talking to earlier. It's about combining what I'm learning with what I want to share, what my message is. So it feels really good to be like healing the part of me I feel like I've avoided. And, that goes back to being in school. I think I just always felt punished. So thank you for putting a word to it because I was like, there's something there that I'm not working on. And it's, maybe it is this feeling of constantly being punished. Breakthrough. So this plays, I'll just say one more thing. This plays a role because when we go to post content or when I go to post content, there's a feeling of like, I'm going to be punished for this. And it doesn't, oh my gosh. See, I'm making these connections now. I don't want to be punished for what I'm putting out. And I think a lot of us have this lying underneath. So these are the things I'm working on. And I think these are the things that I want to sort of start teaching with others as well. So it's just like full circle moment.
It's really cool. I mean, I'm like having my own therapy session right over here because this is like a shower thought or like a 3-hour walk thought that I had recently. Where it's like, why is school like touching people on such a deep psychological level? Like it really, really like moves people. And it's kind of strange because like if you're kind of skeptical about it, you're like, oh, it's a bit of platform, it's a bit of code, some funky colors and a misspelled word. But I don't know. I kind of have this theory where it's like you said, it's like I think so many of us in our primary school, elementary school, high school experiences, things didn't go the way that we wanted them to, or maybe in hindsight, we wish they had gone a little bit better. And I almost feel like this SKOOL is almost like a second shot at that. It's a second shot of like finding a
Oh,
subject that you care about, finding like a group of friends that you care about, being supported, you know, like not getting picked on. Like there's so much stuff you could go into there, but because I really was, I was like, it was bothering me. It's like, why do myself included? It's like, why do people love school so much? It's like there has to be something deeper going on there. But I don't know what you think. That's kind of like my armchair
I,
therapist moment.
I so agree. And I was thinking about this, a few weeks ago, the same what you just said. And it's true. I love how you said it's like giving ourselves a second chance because yeah, I think we haven't had this community aspect that we have with school. And you cannot get that on, like, I don't know, what's school's competitor, Kajabi. I don't
But I
know.
think as well, when you were talking about, you said something crazy. You said, I don't want to be punished for posting content. And I was thinking, dude, that's what a lot of people are feeling whenever it comes to like the algorithm. Like people talk about the algorithm like it's the classroom bully. It's like it's like punishing them for like showing up the way they want to show up. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yes, and that's where technology is like sort of taking over and controlling how we are doing things. It's like it's a very similar. Oh my gosh, it's very similar to real actual school. The teacher was a real person, but on social media, the teacher, quote unquote, is the technology.
Wow. Bro, this is crazy. How is this turned into like a Christopher Nolan Interstellar type movie and it's like 4 minutes in? In this six-dimensional podcast.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You know what I just thought of? I was like, what if one of these books falls? Because, in the movie,
Oh my word. And it's like, what would the message say?
I think just a sign. What I just shared, I'm getting closer and closer to knowing what I want to start putting out, what my message is. That's not something that I thought I had to do, like, as soon as I signed up for school. Like, know what my purpose is, know what my message is. And, one of my mentors has said this thing: humans are ever evolving. And with that, our message is ever evolving. So this is more for, you know, the emotional side of business, the emotional side of selling. It's like what, people really do buy with emotion. So yes, you can sell like a template. This is getting into like business talk. But yes, you can sell a template and formula, but at the end of the day, like, people want to know what your pain is, what you've gone through.
So in your own story, you're talking about pain. And I like in a weird way, like I love pain. Like I think pain is the thing that propels us more than anything on the planet. And every single person on Skool, I think you've really dig down into their story, they're motivated by some sort of a pain. So like what in your story like provoked you to start a mental health Instagram page, and what provoked you to be so fascinated by this idea of the Phoenix and wanting to start a community and all this sort of stuff?
Oh, I love these questions. Um, the Mind Supply was just in 2020. I don't know. I had another business which was copywriting, and I taught others about copywriting, but it was very much the old way of doing copywriting, which was, here's a template, here's the formula, like, use these 5 formulas. And now it's like AI can do that. You can ask ChatGPT. So where is that human connection? And a lot of us don't know how to develop that human connection because it's been lost. We've, like, in the past, we've just seen so many like structures and formulas and do this. And yes, those things work really well. But I think the human connection part is so important. And back then, I didn't even know that I was going to start the Mind Supply. It was, like an intuitive hit. And for some reason, I decided to follow it. And I just started posting content. Even that, it was like I would just post quotes, stuff that I thought would go viral. But the one thing that I did do is I stayed consistent with it. So, with that, like that was the first thing in my life where I was consistent in something. And so I had to take a step back and I'm like, observe, where am I consistent at and what can I do more of that? Because I'm no longer, I had my own copywriting clients in the past, but I don't have that anymore. And it's like my story evolved past that, but I was still stuck in my old story. But now more and more I'm realizing, maybe I can tie my background in copywriting to what I'm doing now. And this is why this community has been helping me so much. The Skool community is just helping me so much because every day, I'm learning more about what my message is and what my story is and what I want to start sharing with others. And it's been great. If you're not participating in the Skool community, you're missing out. It's a magical place. And I think a lot of people don't realize it.
So true. Why mental health? Like, I'm always like, I feel like you've kind of given me a pretty light answer there. I'm like, there's got to be more there. And I don't know anything about your story, but I'm like, who the heck starts a mental health page without having some sort of a history themselves?
I felt like I talk so much. For you to be like, you barely touch the subject is so interesting because you're right. There is a deeper, meaning there. So at that moment, actually, I don't think anyone knows this, but even before I started my journey on Skool, Skool, I was going through a breakup, and that was not a long, that was just a month ago. So still, oh my gosh, that pain is still fresh, like it's still there. Not fresh, but it is, and that's my own journey. That's part of what makes me me, and what makes me want to share my message is I've sort of learned to alchemize this pain, this heartbreak to, like, in a selfish way, but also not selfish. It's like pouring back to myself and what my message is now. So that has just been freeing. And then having Skool, that community aspect is amazing. Like I'm just having so much fun connecting with everyone there. And it's like we're all on our own journey, and we can sort of support each other in whatever capacity that we can. So there's a place for everyone there.
Totally.
As cheesy as it sounds.
Not cheesy at all. I have another wild theory if you can handle another one.
Bring it on.
So, I also used to work as a copywriter. Big reveal. Dun dun dun.
Wow.
I also am a very empathetic person, and I would definitely describe myself as being highly sensitive. And when I was copywriting, and you can disagree with me, when I was copywriting, I was feeling like I was doing what I was put on the earth to do, but in like kind of like an ugly, like Frankenstein sort of way. And what it looks like you've done, and I'm not putting words in your mouth, what it looks like you've done with your Instagram page, your Skool community is you've just like gone straight to the source. So you're like person to person. And instead of having this like thing in the middle with like somebody's brand or somebody's business, it's like, no, forget about the business. What are your like pains? Like, what are your problems? Like, how do we put that into words? And I think that like there's this weird thread between like copywriters, podcasters.
Yes.
It's all very like sensitive, empathetic therapy type work, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes. Yes, you just solved it, Matt. You solved it. This is it. You've solved the reason Skool is a thing right now. It's true, though. It's true. And the conversations I'm having every day in there, it's like, I felt like, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate, conversations that we cannot just have with anyone in our lives. We don't have a group of people who understand what going through this journey is like. And I think because we're all at the end of the day, all we're really doing, to put it into simple terms, is attracting our people on Skool. What type of person do you want to attract into your world? Your own little community. It's your own little world. It's your own little world. And I think that's so amazing because you get to decide, this is more for the creators. You get to decide what you want to put out there, what you want to share, what your message is, and how you want to do it. And for once we have a platform to be able to do that. Mic drop.
Bro, this quote here is going to go down in Skool history, and it's yours. Each community is its own world. Bro, I feel like if we actually were able to fully grasp that, that's pretty insane. Like, that is what you're building. It's like you're building your own planet.
Yes. Yes. To make it a little weird and fun, that's actually exactly what it is. It's your own world. What do you want to share? Like, who cares? Just go for it. And again, this is where we've been disconnected from this part of us because we've been taught that business needs to be done a certain way. Like, oh, what's the next script can I use? And yes, that's important. That is important. And that's why, I'm going to shout out Alex Hormozi's books here because they have helped me so much. And they've just sort of taken my ideas and put them into like, okay, like slow down. Slow down. This is actually what you need to be doing. And, a lot of us on here, like you said, we're sensitive. And that sensitivity, I think, makes us feel like, I don't know if this would be the correct way of putting it, but I'm just going to share how I feel. I feel like I have so many ideas, and if I were to put it into like the words, like feminine versus masculine energy, I feel like I've been a lot in that feminine. And if you're a woman, not even a woman, but you're someone of more of that feminine essence, you may have these amazing ideas, but what I'm learning is I need to balance my masculine side as well in business. So what that looks like is these structures, and like, Nav, here's...
It just looks like Alex Hormozi.
Yes. No, literally. And that's why I love his content because, let me be a little honest here. At first I was like, did not agree with his message at all. In the marketing world, I'm like, ugh, another business, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
But that's what I thought it was in the beginning. And his message, what it's helping me do is just like, take that action, like just do it. And then his books just teach you how to actually put that into practice. So the more I'm doing that, it's working. And it's like, yes, no shit. Like this is someone who's teaching us, who's done it, so of course it's going to work. And that's the side I was sort of lacking, is that more masculine side. So I think, just incorporating more of that has been just amazing. And it's helping me be a little woo-woo, like go with the flow. And as much as I love that, like I just want to be in the flow all day long. And, everything comes easy. Content is easy. It feels good. But when I really dissect it, I get into those phases when I have a good routine, when I have good structure. So you can still flow, but you can do it within setting these containers, as I like to call them, in your world. And what are these containers that you want to have? You get to decide, and that's also your world. It's your world as well. What types of containers you want to set and where you want to distribute certain things.
So good. So how did you come across Skool? Because Skool as a platform is very early, but I also feel like we are very early to be like sharing your story. Like you remind me of like there's this kind of like cohort of people on Skool that I feel like are just about to blow up. So I think like Bijan's one of them. I think Ryan Duncan's one of them. I think you're one of them. And I just see like I see you guys like kind of like getting everything kind of in order, figuring out your offer. And then I feel like just because of like who you guys are and the energy you bring, it's about to just go like whoosh. So how did you come across the platform? And like what sort of success are you experiencing on it to date?
I think it was actually one of my community members. She was in one of my last programs. Her name's Diane. So shout out to Diane. She suggested that I hop on Skool, and I heard it from her. But actually, when Sam Owens first released Skool, I knew about it. I heard about it, but for some reason, it wasn't. I wasn't necessarily attracted to it because I wasn't in his world. Like I didn't know about him. So now, it's crazy looking at what it's become. And I want to be a part of that. And I love the mission behind Skool. And I think it's attracting a lot of amazing people. So I completely agree with you. Ryan, Bijan, there's so many amazing people on there. Captivate, everyone in Captivate. Shout out Captivate. And I would like to thank. No, but seriously, this platform has its own communities within communities, and we can sort of use what other people are, their strengths, because people in this community have their own set of strengths, and it works so beautifully. Like it's just, I'm mind blown. When I came here, I had no idea that this is what it would turn into. So it's teaching me so much. It's starting to play a role in my own story, which I don't even know what that means, but I just, that's just how I feel. And I think a lot of people are feeling that as well. That energy of like, this is different. This is new. We like this. Yeah.
So cool. So you first logged onto the platform on 17th of April, which is you coming up to a little anniversary soon, which is quite nice. And you've been like super active on the platform since then. You've got a free community and you've a paid community, and there's 20 people inside your paid community, $44 a month. It's called the Phoenix Field. Why does the metaphor of the Phoenix jump out to you? Why do you like that?
I think the Phoenix, what it represents is very significant to what a lot of us are experiencing right now. And honestly, there's no real answer to it. I went on a walk. Again, this is where, doing things like this, being in my creative flow, I went on a walk, and for some reason, this image, this idea of a phoenix just popped up in my head, as I was brainstorming. Even the 369, I have a challenge in there called the Phoenix Challenge. And choosing 369, again, I'm huge on numerology. So these things, numbers just, they hold an energy. They hold an energy. And even with my pricing, like 44, those are numbers that feel good to me. So I think I'm also breaking a lot of patterns and a lot of my own beliefs on how business needs to be done. And it's like something as little as price, what feels good to you? At the end of the day, it really is that, what's a number that feels good to you, and just put it out there and test, try it out, see if it does feel good, see if it resonates, see if people are resonating, with what you're putting out. So the Phoenix, again, going back, it was just an idea that came up on this walk. I love the bird. I love the fire. And the more I'm personally decoding myself with things like numerology and what's another thing? Tarot. I have been getting recently into tarot. The more I'm sort of decoding, this message of fire is really showing up. So I'm like, if I believe in this stuff, tarot, spirituality, and fire is showing up, How can that become a part of my story? And it's like this fire is your pain. So maybe there was a message there all along. this this fire is your pain, and how can we use this pain to rise from the ashes, which is what
Yeah,
Phoenix, represents. So
100%. How'd you get your first few members?
Instagram. Actually, no, I don't think that's true. It was people who followed me from my past journey, from my copywriting world. The first few people were those people who followed me. And that's why I said the people who love you and the people who want to be around your energy are going to follow you no matter what it is that you decide to do. And that's been so true in my world. I've had, those people follow me from that world. And I think what I need to do is go back to that world just for a little bit and be like, hey guys, I'm building this new thing on Skool. Come join me. So I can, now show you copywriting, but in a different way. So I think that's where this is sort of taking me is how can we use your pain? How can we use your story to figure out your message? And then, use social media, use all these amazing tools that we have in order to share that message, but in a way that feels really good to you. So I think I just shared my little pitch there. So come join us inside the Phoenix field.
It's so good though, because you're right. We are attracted to people because of the energy they put out and how they make us feel. Actually, yeah, the Maya Angelou quote, it's like we forget what people say, but we always remember how they make us feel. And I think, yes, we want the outcomes. Yes, we want the killer offer. Yes, we want the transformational journey. But like even deeper than that is we just want to be around good people. And I think that's kind of like one of the reasons why we really wanted to chat to you today is because like you just have a good energy. Like you're just like you're fun to be around, and beyond like any sort of like value stack, it's like yeah, like there's that side of it too. So I love everything you've said about business, where it's like we have leaned pretty heavy into just like the data and the spreadsheets and the bullet points, but I'm excited to see like what people like you like lead the way on with this kind of other side. And there's other people who are really killing it. I think Evelyn does a really good job of this. Her whole like monetize your personal growth journey, I think is like really, really interesting. All that stuff you're talking about, your pain and your story, very, very relevant to that. How did you feel about Hormozi roasting your about page?
Whoa.
Big masculine energy coming at you.
He kept it good. I think he knew that if he had been a little harsh, it would have just destroyed me. No, but I'm open. I'm open to any feedback right now because the more I'm realizing that yes, my message deserves a place. And so thank you so much for everything that you just said, because that means a lot. And I do hope to, start bringing this energy of, let's talk about the pain. What's your inner fire? What is really deep down? And this is what your person that's in your community, in your world, chances are if you're attracting this person, it's usually the same pain. We're usually, attracting people who are on that frequency of pain as well. So how can you're just maybe just a little bit step ahead of them. Maybe you have an answer to something that they're going through. So how can you help them? And maybe it is with teaching them, insert niche, insert whatever you're doing out there. But there's, just that deep layer to that, which is connecting with people on a more human level. And that's why Skool is really doing that, because we're no longer sort of chasing, I want to say likes, but that's another reason I really like Skool is all these little features, even the leaderboard. the competitive energy to it. It's amazing. It's fun. It's fun. So I don't know. I'm having a lot of fun.
So awesome. Final question. I actually just kind of want to use this as a fun little timestamp and a fun little bookmark for your own journey. Let's pretend it's like 6 months down the line, okay? So what is that? Christmas time. Let's just say Christmas time, because
Okay.
I'm not great at maths. So it's Christmas Day. You're doing whatever you do on Christmas Day. You're looking back over your year, and you think about this podcast interview, and you're like, "Whoa, so much has happened since that recording." What would you be delighted to see, like with your community, with your business? What are some things that by Christmas time you'd be like, oh my goodness, if that happened, it would be the sickest thing ever?
Whew. I think for me, that would be seeing that I showed up every day. As I'm gonna get a little emotional here, but more than anything, I want to see how much I grow personally. How did I show up? Did I show up? And did I put my story out there? Did I share my message into the world? And, for me to do that, I do need more of those, those structures, and more of those have a routine, more of, the data. Yes, it's also important. As much as I want to flow, I can also record and I don't know. There's just so much behind the scenes that happens of doing business. It's all a lot. It's a lot. But I think I just want to see that I stayed consistent and I didn't sort of give up. As cheesy as that sounds, it's that I didn't give up, that I'm still inside of this community, still active. I don't know if you see on my profile, I have those green boxes.
Bro, you're hardcore mode. I saw it.
Oh my gosh. And that's not even happening by force. And I think that's why.
Right.
Oh. By the
Sure
way,
did.
there's a lot of branding work that needs to be done on this page right here. So hopefully by the time you're watching this, I've done my work. I've revamped everything. It's my personal.
I'm just sharing it so that the Christmas time version of yourself can look back and just be like, oh my word, how amazing.
For doing that. Thank you for doing that. That will mean a lot to me. But yes.
So what MRR, what like monthly recurring revenue would have you dancing into the new year?
Ooh.
And this isn't to like limit yourself. This is just like, again, just a timestamp like where you are. It's like, actually this amount I would just be just over the moon with.
I'm going to give you an answer that scares me and an answer that feels good. An answer that feels good would be 10K. 10K.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with my price point and just getting my offer right, it's looking very like, yes, that's going to happen. It's seeming very realistic.
Scare us. What's your scary one?
The number that scares me would be, again, because I like to be fun with numbers, it's like something to do with 369. So 36,000, 69,000. Ooh, 96,000 a month. Are you? Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes. But I'm leaning more towards the 69,000. That number feels good for me, and it is a little scary. But that's why, looking back at it, I want to see that I, if not met that goal, I still got better than who I am right now. Hopefully my page is looking a little nicer. That in itself is going to make such a huge difference. But slowly, I don't need to have it figured out all at once. I can do it slowly. So that's another thing that I'm just, for once, taking a breather, and it's like, relax. You got
Nice.
this.
You 100% do. Let's do this. Bonus question. If you could go back in time to last Christmas,
Ooh.
And you could have a, what are you drinking there? Is that a Starbucks or what is that?
It's Tim Hortons, Canadian.
Tim's. If you
Black
could go,
coffee.
oh, shout out to Canada. Yeah, come on. If you could go and have a cup of coffee with the Nav of Christmas past, you had a couple of minutes of her time, what sort of things would you say to her? Because it's been a big 6 months for you since then. So I'm curious, like, we've looked forward. If you were looking back now, what would you say to her?
Last Christmas, I think I was in Costa Rica last Christmas. No. We came back. So that's, going back to that was my story with my ex-partner. Is that was, a decision, or like that's the phase that I was in my life in that moment. And now looking back, going through this breakup, it's so different. So the conversation would be like, I'm not even the same person anymore, So as emotional as, it's the truth. I'm not that person. I'm not in some of those fears. And what this year has done is it's helped me go within a little bit more, figure out my purpose. And that's where you need to put in that little bit of effort to, do something as little as going on a walk, because that's where your creativity is going to flow. And if it's not, going on a walk, what do you like to do? What's a part of you that you want to work on? What's a part of you that you want to heal? So another, sort of part of my message is right now I'm healing my relationship with my family. And so this ties back into what I'm sort of moving forward with here, is that inner pain and those inner, just those beliefs that I have within me, whether it was through childhood and just looking at my real life, and how can I, in a fun, strategic way, put it out there to keep growing as a person. So looking back, even 6 months from now, if I were to look back at this moment, it's like I'd probably be talking to a whole different person, because it's evolving. It's not ever the same. So amazing question, Matthew. I think I'm going to ask that inside of my community, because that's great. That was awesome.
Nav, you killed it. Humans are always evolving, to quote you from earlier. Really, really appreciate your time, genuinely. It's been super fun hanging out with you. I know a lot of people are going to love hearing your story. Of course, there's going to be a link to Nav Skool in the description of wherever you're listening or watching. Other than that, honestly, thanks, Nav. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Bro, you killed that.